walk outside on my grass in my neighborhood, and there's one shocking thing that I do not see. One thing that I grew up seeing all the time, and that I also did growing up. Kids playing in the yard. Nowadays, kids are sitting in their rooms playing Fortnite and watching Netflix or playing on PS. This is hurting the kids of this generation. It is also why kids should be required to play sports. And my first point will also tell you about this pressing matter. The child obesity rate in America is very high, and it affects about 18.5% of children, which equates to around about 13.7 million children in the United States alone. An article by the Midwest Quarterly by Larry Trina. It states that 70% of children that have obesity now will have it as they get older. They also say that as a child with obesity, the chance of you having heart disease by 30 skyrockets by 80%. But this can be solved by kids participating in recreational sports. It was proven in an article by Plus One by Flora Bardura. It says as kids with overweight problems are introduced to recreational sports, they say that 7 times out of 10, the case of the weight problem was solved. I've also seen this on a very personal level. My brother suffered with weight problems, and my parents introduced him to a swim team at the YMCWA. He first resented it, but then began to love it, and even lost a lot of weight. And now today, he's in the best shape of his life. But if it hasn't convinced you yet, I will tell you how sports can keep your kids safe, off the street, and out of gangs. In our first picture, we see a graph of the increase of overweight children from the 60s to the early 2000s. In this picture here, we have a body mass index. On this side, you have the height. It goes from 6'7" to 4'11". And on the top, you have your pounds. It goes from 69 to 353. The obese body mass index is over 30. The overweight is body mass index between 25 to 30. The normal weight body mass index is 18.5 to 25. And underweight is anything under 18.5. Sports can help you also beyond the physical gains of playing. In the article Evaluations of Extracurricular Sports Activities for Substantial Development in Educational Institutes by Perez Ordaz, it says this has helped many kids in low-income areas succeed in staying away from gangbanging and drug dealing. In the same article, they saw a 10% decrease in gang violence after recreational soccer was offered in low-income areas of Mexico. This is a big study because this shows that other counties and countries can do the same, if not more, to help. And at school, some of my closest friends have told me that if it wasn't for sports at a young age, they would have been strung out on the streets selling or doing other things that could have ruined their lives and sports career. But this brings me to my next point on how sports teach you manners and teamwork. Right here we have a kid in jail. Very sad sight to see. You just don't want to see it at all. Then we have Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor, at a young age, suffered from the problems that I just gave you in the gang violence place. He grew up in Ireland. And when you think gang violence, you usually don't think of Ireland, but it's there, trust me. And he got out of that. He got out of poverty. And now he's a very successful MMA fighter. Teamwork and manners are very good things to have in life. They are necessary in the workforce and just in everyday life. Sports teach you manners and teamwork in ways you wouldn't even realize. For example, manners are learned real quick because if you don't address your coach in a polite, respectful way, you're going to find yourself doing some kind of punishment, and 9 times out of 10 is running. And teamwork is ingrained in every sport you play, even golf, which is an individual sport. For example, though, in golf, you may be by yourself swinging the club, but your caddy usually does the suggesting by which club you use and what you do in certain situations. So if it wasn't for your caddy, you'd probably be sucking. In an article by British journalist of sports medicine by Dresner J.A., he says that in the case of students who played in recreational sports/team sports, they saw a decrease in trips to principal's office, fights, and punishments like detentions in schools. This brings me to my conclusion. Right here I put a picture of teamwork because one of my favorite quotes is, "Teamwork makes the dream work, baby." Sports should be required because of tremendous on-field and off-field advantages and how they can make people come together. And if you've learned anything from today, take this piece of advice with you. Even the worst of people can become better people through acts of kindness, teamwork, and sports. Thank you.